Hey everyone, how's it going? Azrin here, owner of the Calgary Language Nerds, and welcome to today's Learn Gujarati with Me podcast episode and YouTube video. Today we're going to do another listening practice lesson. I'm going to read you a simplified and summarized version of a story. We're going to go through a lot of words, do some grammar practice, do some vocabulary practice, and yeah, yesterday's listening practice was probably a little bit too advanced, honestly, and just a bit too much. We really did like a really intense lesson. So today we're gonna lighten things up a bit, make it a little bit easier. And yeah, the full link to the story we're gonna do, in case you want to read the entire story, I'm gonna put a link, looks like this. Put a link in the episode description box in case you want to read it or listen to it after in its full form. So some key words in this story here are chare baju. Chare baju means from all sides. If we look at the word chare baju, we're going to see, oops, we're going to see this word char. Char is the number 4. Baju means like side. So chare baju means from all, think of like 4 sides. You have something that comes from all 4 sides of you, right? So chare baju from all sides. Uttarvu, uttarvu means to descend or to get off a bus or get off a train, for example. Chorvo is a plant. Yeah, pretty easy. Chorvo. Bhukru, bhukru is a color. It means gray or ash colored. Maybe, I don't 100% know, but maybe it comes from the same root as bhuko. Bhuko is the word for powder. Dhoru, dhoru is pretty much the same as safed, which means white. I would say there's some minor nuances between safed and dhoru. Safed to me is just white, like just white. That's that, easy peasy, straight translation. Dhoru has a little bit more of a energetic feel to it, more vivid, more storytelling language, more almost more casual. It's kind of hard to really put an exact word on it, but yeah, they're pretty much synonyms, but Dhoru has a slightly like a 2% different feel. If you're a beginner, excuse me, if you're a beginner or even intermediate, you could just stick with Safed most of the time and you're going to be just fine. But Dhoru is a word you may read sometimes that also pretty much just means white. Prarthna means prayer. Kavita is a poem, easy peasy. Geet is a song. A couple of birds we're going to learn about with that we don't, at least in my city, we don't have them, I think. Koyal. Koyal is an Asian koel. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. Koel. Has like very, very red eyes. And Mena is, I guess, a myna bird. Again, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly in English, but 2 types of birds. And lastly, Gadheru, which is a donkey. Now, at least in my experience, people tend to say Gadhero much more often than Gadheru. But the story that we're going to do, in case you go read it after, the word they do use is Gadheru, and not Gadhero. Now, the name of the story we're going to do is Che Su, or rather Che Shu, if we pronounce it properly. Che Shu, or in more casual language, Che Su. Which pretty much is just another way to say Su Che. What is it? What is it? Su Che. One of the things that I'm not going to do this when I tell you the story, but if you choose to go and like read the story of your own accord or listen to the story of your own accord, it's literally right here. There's like a read along version. It wasn't working for me today, but maybe the website's just being like kind of buggy. I don't know. But there's a read along version so you can actually hear it. There's a read version so you can just like read it, like just read it if you want to. One thing you'll notice if you do choose to go do that is that this is like a perfect example of a story that plays around with word order in Gujarati. The word order is very, very not standard. They've played around with word order because of the story. As a reminder, in Gujarati, we can move words around pretty much anywhere we want. We can put any word anywhere, anytime, essentially. Advanced speakers will do that for effect. You see, whatever comes directly before your verb is emphasized. So if I put a noun before a verb, that means the noun gets extra oomph, extra emphasis in the sentence. If I put an adjective before that verb, whatever the verb is, the adjective gets extra emphasis. That's how they do it. It's an unconscious thing, but that's how you do it. So if you look at this title, Che Su, the standard way to say this is Su Che. What is it? That's just kind of like normal Gujarati. But by flipping the order, by saying Che Su, Che is our verb. There's actually nothing before the verb. So it puts an extra emphasis. Like if a native speaker is hearing this, what's happening in their brain unconsciously is they're like, wait, there's nothing before the verb. Okay, so where should I focus? Well, where do they focus? They focus after the verb. They're like, there's nothing before. Che usually goes at the ends of sentences. So let's look at Su. So it's almost like, what is it? There's an air of mystery added in. There's an air of mystery added in by flipping the order of Su Che to Che Su. And you're going to see in a moment why there is an air of mystery. Okay, so I'm going to go through the story. We're going to go slower than yesterday. Yesterday, honestly, it was a tough lesson yesterday. Too hard for my liking, honestly. Even while I was recording, I was like, is this too hard? And then after posting, I was like, yeah, this is probably a little bit too hard for like the typical lesson I want to do at this stage on this channel. So we're going to go a bit slower than yesterday. And this is a slightly easier story as well. I'll give you some context. There's a bunch of animals. They're kind of, hanging out and they're hearing this weird noise. And they're like, what the heck is that noise? Like, and pretty much the book is about these animals talking about what the heck that noise could be. And then by the end, we figure out what the noise is. Yay. Okay, nice and slow. આ વાર્તાનું નામ છે શું. તો સૌથી પહેલા એક અવાજ છે વાર્તામાં. એક અવાજ છે. અવાજ એટલે શું? અવાજ એટલે સાઉન્ડ કે નોઇઝ. એક અવાજ છે. અવાજ છે ભૂ ભૂ લા 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 ભૂ લા લા લા. એ અવાજ છે. ભૂ લા 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 અવાજ છે. તો અમુક પ્રાણીઓ છે. એક હરણ, બિલાડી, અમુક પ્રાણીઓ છે. અને આ પ્રાણીઓ મિત્રો છે. મિત્રો એટલે શું? મિત્રો એટલે ફ્રેન્ડ્સ. તો આ પ્રાણીઓ મિત્રો છે. ને પ્રાણીઓ વાત કરે છે. ને વાત કરે છે. કે છે એ અવાજ શું છે? એ અવાજ શું છે? એ અવાજ ક્યાંથી આવે છે? ક્યાંથી આવે છે અવાજ? કદાચ ચારે બાજુથી? શું છે અવાજ? ક્યાંથી આવે છે અવાજ? પછી એક પ્રાણી કહે છે મને લાગે છે ત્યાંથી આવે છે. ત્યાંથી આવે છે. અવાજ હજી છે. ભૂ 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 લા 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 ભૂ લા 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 અવાજ છે. તો આ પ્રાણીઓ વાત કરે છે, બોલે છે. ને વિચારે છે. વિચારે છે. આકાશમાંથી ઉતર્યું છે કે કદાચ ઝાડમાં કંઈક છે કે આ છોડવામાં કંઈક છે. આ છોડવોમાં કંઈક છે. તળાવમાં કંઈક છે. હવામાં કંઈક છે. એ અવાજ શું છે? અવાજ ક્યાંથી આવે છે? ભૂ ભૂલા લા 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 થાય છે. પછી વિચારે છે કદાચ એ લોકો જોવે છે. સોરી, એ લોકો નહીં, પ્રાણીઓ જોવે છે. અહીંયા આમ જોવે છે, જુએ છે. પછી કંઈક દેખાય છે. કંઈક દેખાય છે. ઓ કંઈક દેખાય છે. પછી આ પ્રાણીઓ વાત કરે છે, બોલે છે. કાળું છે કે ધોળું છે? ભૂખરું છે? ખબર નહીં. જ્યાં હજી ભૂ ભૂલા લા 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 હજી થાય છે. પછી આ ત્રણ પ્રાણીઓ હજી જુએ છે, હજી સાંભળે છે ને કે છે પ્રાર્થના ગાય છે કે કદાચ કવિતા કવિતા છે, પ્રાર્થના છે, ગીત છે, શું છે એ અવાજ શું છે શું અવાજ? હજી સાંભળે છે, હજી સાંભળે છે. અવાજ અવાજ શું છે અવાજ? એક પક્ષી છે, પક્ષી એટલે બર્ડ ને પક્ષી છે, કોયલ, મેના, મોર કે કબૂતર કે શું છે? પછી ઓ હવે દેખાય છે, દેખાય છે, ઓ દેખાય છે, પ્રાણી છે. ને આ ત્રણ મિત્રો બોલે છે ઓ ગધેડું છે, ગધેડું. ઓ okay. And that's the end of the story. So let's go slowly together. This is an easier story than last time. Let's just go together. So first there's a noise. Ek avaj che. Let me share my screen. We can do this together. So first of all, there's a noise. Ek avaj che. Ek avaj che. There is a noise. Ek avaj che. And it's a pretty when I was saying the noise, that's how it's written in the story. It's written as boo la 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 la. That is how the it's actually written. Could you imagine being in like a forest or something and hearing like boo la la la? That'd be a very strange noise. So like, avad suche. E avad suche. What is that sound? E avaj shuche. What is that noise? E avad suche. Then they say ક્યાંથી આવે છે? ક્યાંથી આવે છે? Almost want to put ક્યાંથી in our vocabulary actually, but it's a pretty easy concept. Kya is where, which probably you already know. T is from where. So from where is it coming? ક્યાંથી આવે છે? Where is it coming from? Kind of looking around. જોવે છે, સાંભળે છે. So they're looking, and they're listening. ચારે બાજુથી. ચારે બાજુથી. So ચારે બાજુ we have as a new word. ચારે બાજુથી. ચારે બાજુથી. Is it coming from all sides? Actually, this is, ચારે બાજુ is actually more all sides. ચારે બાજુથી is from all sides. That's a bit more accurate, actually. So ચારે બાજુથી આવે છે. Is it coming from all sides? Where is it coming from? They don't know, right? And then they say, oh, ત્યાંથી આવે છે. ત્યાંથી આવે છે. So ત્યાં is like over there, right? That's probably a word you would know at this point. ત્યાંથી આવે છે. It's coming from over there, from there. ત્યાંથી આવે છે. So they walk over to this area where they think the sound is coming from. And they hear it again. Boo, boo, la, 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 right? Then they say, આકાશમાંથી કંઈક ઉતર્યું છે? આકાશમાંથી ઉતર્યું છે? There's something descended from the. Is it descended from the clouds or from the sky? Akash ma thi uttaryu che. Uttaryu is the past tense. Again, remember, past tense, we always have these u endings, right? I would highly recommend that this, honestly, a little bit of a tangent. I know that a lot of the people who watch these videos, like you actually watch them regularly and you're like studying quite studiously, like on your own time. In fact, a lot of you take classes with me. So, I mean, like, I know you, like, I know who you are. And so I know you study a fair amount, if not very much. And so at this point, if I don't know you and you're just watching along and you're being really diligent, I really recommend at this point that like the past, present, and future tenses, like past tense, we have two. We have simple past and imperfect past. We have the present tense, obviously, and we have a future tense. So those four tenses, I really want you to go through the YouTube channel and practice those tenses. There's some like drill videos, there's some exercise videos. Like those tenses, you don't have to be perfect. By all means, heck no, that would be crazy to expect. But to have like a basic understanding of how these tenses work and to kind of sort of use them yourself and at least kind of recognize it. Like that, I think is very important and almost like a firm expectation moving forward after this lesson. Like, hey, like, let's really make sure that the two primary past tenses, that's the simple past and imperfect past, the present tense and the future tense, let's make sure those are like really, again, you're not going to be perfect at them, but like, we got to be, we got to be like, like, you have to at least kind of know them a little bit. Okay. So Akashmati Uttaryu, did it like descend from from the from the sky, right? Then they're like maybe from a tree, Jharamati, right? Or Jharamache. I kind of reworded it a little bit, but Jharamache, Jharmache. Is it in a tree? Jharamache? Right? They're like, I don't know. Kabarne. Chorvamache? Chorvamache? Is it in this plant? Or in that plant, rather? Chorvamache? Is it in that plant? I don't know. Who knows, right? They don't know. Then they hear the noise again. Boo, 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 la, 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 all that, right? Then they're like, oh, dekaiche. Dekaiche. We can see it, right? It can be seen now. They're looking really closely. They can see it. Dekaiche. Dekaiche is we can see it. Dekaiche. And now they're wondering, what color is it, right? And they're like, garuche? Right? Doruche? Right? Is it bhukruche? Um, oops, there we go. Bhukru. Oh my goodness, I can't type anymore. There we go. Bhukru. Bhukru. Oops. Bhukruche. Bhukruche? They're trying to figure out what color this thing is, right? They hear the noise again. Bhoo, 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 right? Then prarthna gaiche. So again, we have prarthna up here. Prarthna gaiche. Gaiche is singing. So are they singing a prayer? Prarthna gaiche. Geet gaiche. Like, are they singing a prayer? Are they singing like kavita? Kavitache? Is it a poem or is kavita? Kavita up here. Kavitache? Like, what the heck is this noise? You can see why it's Cheshu. Like, it's really there's an air of mystery. Instantly, you see the title and you're like, you instantly know that there's like probably some mystery or something because of that reordering of like the typical standard word order, right? Then they're like, is it a bird? So then they're like, oh, I didn't write this. Then like bakshiche, kadach bakshiche, kadach bakshiche, kadach bakshiche. Is it maybe a bird? Koyal, koyal. We saw koyal earlier. It's a type of Asian coal bird. I don't pronounce that. Menache, right? Koyal, Mena, right? A couple of different birds that we have, bird types. They're in the story. Mena. And finally they see it. Finally. And what is it? Gadhero or Gadheru, right? Gadheroche or Gadheruche. All right, so let's do a bit of practice here. We're gonna try and retell the story. You're gonna try and retell the story in Gujarati yourself. I'm gonna help you. Okay. So I'm gonna hide this. I'll show you the words. Okay, so you can see the words at least. And I'll give you like the story in English. You translate my English to Gujarati. So let me actually pull up the story open on my computer so I can see all the different pages. All right, so tell me the story's name. What is the story called? Chesu, right? Chesu. So you could say A Vartanu Nam Che. Chesu. This story's name is Chesu. A Vartanu Nam Che. Chesu. Okay, for fun, make the noise. You know that noise? A boo, boo, la, la, la. You make the noise yourself. Go, have some fun. Okay. Now we have the three animals. So I want you to say in Gujarati, there are three animals and the animals are friends. So you say that in Gujarati. There are three animals and the animals are friends. ત્રણ પ્રાણી છે. Or you could say ત્રણ પ્રાણીઓ છે. આ પ્રાણીઓ મિત્રો છે. These animals are friends. And these animals are these animals hear a sound. You try saying that in Gujarati. You say these animals hear a sound. Give that a try. આ પ્રાણીઓ અવાજ સાંભળે છે. આ પ્રાણીઓ અવાજ સાંભળે છે. They're listening to a sound, right? And they're wondering, you can say this, where's that sound coming from? અવાજ ક્યાંથી આવે છે? ક્યાંથી આવે છે? One animal says, it's coming from everywhere. It's coming from all over. ચારે બાજુથી આવે છે. ચારે બાજુથી આવે છે. Let's fast forward a bit here in the story. The sound continues. And now they're looking. They can see it. They can kind of see something. And they're like, is it in a tree? Try saying that. Is it in a tree? ઝાડમાં છે? Try saying, is it in the sky? આકાશમાં છે? Try saying, did it descend from the sky? This is a harder one. આકાશમાંથી ઉતર્યું છે? આકાશમાંથી ઉતર્યું છે? And I want to double check something if I wrote it as Akash. So it's like from the inside of the sky is how that translates, like literally. Akashmati uttaryu che. Has it descended from the sky? How would you say, maybe it's in the plant? Kadach chorvama che. Kadach chorvama che. The sound continues. Boo, boo, la, la, la. You make the sound too. Go, have some fun. Now they can see it. How do you say that? Oh, we can see it. Or they can see it. I guess they can see it. The animals can see it. પ્રાણીઓને દેખાય છે. પ્રાણીઓને દેખાય છે. For દેખાય છે, you always have a ne. મને દેખાય છે, I can see it. તને દેખાય છે, તમને દેખાય છે, you can see it. એને દેખાય છે, he or she can see it. પ્રાણીઓને દેખાય છે, the animals can see it. And now they're wondering what color it is. So you can say, is it white? Is it black? Is it gray? How do you say that? કાળું છે? સફેદ છે? ભૂખરું છે? Or if you want to use the white word that they used, ધોળું છે? ધોળું is that synonym for white, right? They don't know yet. The sound continues, boo, boo, boo. Then the animals are wondering, is it singing a prayer? How do you say that? Is it singing a prayer? That whatever's making the noise. પ્રાર્થના ગાય છે? પ્રાર્થના ગાય છે? And they're like, or maybe it's a poem. How do you say that? કદાચ કવિતા છે. Or maybe it's a song. કદાચ ગીત છે. We don't know. Right? And then they're thinking, maybe it's a bird. કદાચ પક્ષી છે. કોયલ, મેના. Finally, they see it. And it's a donkey. How do you say, oh, it's a donkey? How do we say that? Oh, gadhedo che. Or, oh, gadhedu che. In the story, you'll see gadhedu. In my experience, gadhedo is more common. So I personally say gadhedo. Oh, gadhedo che. All right. And that is the end of that particular story. That went much smoother today. This is much better than what we did yesterday. So this is a better format. Yesterday was just too heavy, frankly. So anyway, thank you for watching. By the way, let me stop my screen share. I do offer private classes for Gujarati, and we can work on your conversation, your reading, your listening, vocabulary. Honestly, the way that I usually work for Gujarati classes, it is very goal oriented. So I want to get you to a certain level by a certain time. That's really how I approach it. let's say you're a beginner. For a beginner, I probably want you to be intermediate within like, honestly, within like 6 to 12 months, depending on how intensively we're studying. 12 months is less intensive, 6 months is probably quite intensive. Um, if you already have a bit of a base, maybe it's getting you to like a mid intermediate level or something like that. If we're taking classes for numerous years, obviously we're gonna have bigger goals than just being intermediate. Like we're gonna aim for something really, really high, maybe, right? Um, and so it is a very goal-oriented approach, helping you reach a certain level by a certain time. That's really how I approach the classes. Um, and yeah, some of my students I see like multiple times a week. Some of them are much more like a coaching model. Maybe I see you once a month or something like that. And I'm just making sure that it's really clear what to do between lessons. There's different ways we can do it to make it flexible around you. If you aren't taking classes, that's obviously totally fine. These videos will continue for a long time, for a while at least. And so you're welcome to keep learning with these. There is a link in the episode description box. There's like a PayPal link. So if you do want to leave a donation, that is where you can do that. Um, so yeah, that's that. Oh, for the lessons, there's a link in the episode description box too to my website. You can go there, fill out the Google form, and I'll be happy to get in touch with you to chat more. Okay, that's that. Joel. Have a nice day. See you. Stop.